Hello, 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 and welcome, my Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to the new work, career, vocation reads from Drawing the Circle Productions YouTube channel. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, son of a Cancerian mother, the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons. Oh, look, the child card. One of the child cards came up. But you can just call me Mal. Hi. Hello, 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 my Cancerians, my moon children, my crab cakes. I know you like, I love crab cakes too. So good. Welcome, 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 my subscribers. Thank you so much for your love and your support along the way on my career. Since we happen to be talking about work, career, and vocation, very happy to use this spread for you all. And if you are new to my channel and you do feel like helping out, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment, help me get to my goal of 30,000 subscribers so that I can have the membership little join button and I can put my extended readings here as well as on VIMEO.com. The difference is Vimeo, you pay for them individually, $5 a pop or more, depending on how long they are eventually. But here, if I have the membership thing, you pay one price per month, you get them all, right? You can totally cross-watch till your heart's content, right? So let's get up in this gig. This is a reading that I do for myself and for clients. I have for years and years and years. I started my company, Drawing the Circle Productions, talk about work, career, vocation. 1998, right? So this is a spread that I've come back to. It's simple. It's really a 3-card spread, but I've built upon it to make it a 9-card spread for this, looking at the 3 levels of power: work, career, and vocation in your life. I'll explain that in a minute. So this may or may not be about money, right? Your career isn't necessarily just what you do to make money. Work is. Let's do that. 3 levels of power: work, career, vocation. You'll see we'll have 3 columns of 3 cards each by the end of this. Work is the physical world, the lower 3 chakras, right? Solar plexus, sacrum, and root. It's you're navigating through the physical world. So the physical world, the literal level of power. These are literal physical cards I'm shuffling in my hand, right? So on the level of work, that's what you do to survive, right? In all sorts of different ways, shapes, and forms. It has no limit to it. I just said in the Gemini read, Carolyn May says that the word interpretation should have no period after it because there's no end to interpretation. But in this particular reading, I am feeling already the alchemical chemistry going on, and that's what we're going to look at here with these Caroline Myss archetype cards. So work, what you do to physically survive. Career, mental, emotional hunger and thirst. Mental, emotional hunger and thirst, your passion, right? That's stuff that people search for, and it might not be something that you make money doing, right? It's like maybe you're doing that in work, right? Making the money to survive so that you can do your career, your passion, right? A lot of artists do it that way, right? Day job, night job. Vocation. Oh, so if you want to look at that personal, that middle card, careers, the personal level of power, the internal world, heart, throat, third eye, and crown, right? So that's why it could be your personal creativity, all that kind of stuff. And then that third level of power, vocation, is a spiritual calling, which you may or may not be aware of any of these energies. Obviously, that's the point of a reading. But to kind of look at it, particularly with these archetype cards, I'm finding this time around that they're not just the archetypes of your work, career, and vocation personally. They might be about your work, career, and vocation as an external force, or someone that you're dealing with, or a pattern that you keep coming up with or against over and over and over again for the benefit of your soul, but much to the inconvenience or perhaps fury and frustration of your personality, right? So let's get down in this. Let's get down on it. Come on and get down on it. Breathe. This is a general read. Please check what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs, because of course your sun sign is going to get a different read than your moon and your rising on this stuff. We're such complex beings, we don't even realize it, no matter what your work, career, or vocation is. So remember to stay in the present moment, right? Try and breathe as much as you can. And I'll see what I can catch then. Breathe. I know, it's a new reading. It's a new spread. I gotta give a little exposition, so just don't throw them down in the middle of Carolyn Myss town. My collective pantheons, please. I need 3 cards in clarity. Work, career, vocation for the Cancerian collective. Sun, moon, rising signs, right? We're not doing Venus. Sun, moon, rising signs in their work, career, and vocation for October and November 2020, please. That's their work. Please, one for their career. This feels very simple. And one for their vocation. Yeah, I think these might be a little cut and dry, that there was no stumbling or flippers or anything like that going on in the shuffle. So I'm going to run with that. Let's see what's going on in your physical world. Okay. Now, before I flip this card over, and I'm glad to, it's a divine feminine, a feminine family archetype. But though it is gendered, you could be a male or female having this, because this is about the work that you do in the world. And we've got the card of the mother. Now, my mother is a Cancerian sun sign, so I can sort of tune into that a little bit, right? Mother's work, is it ever really done? Well, there's maiden, there's mother, there's crone, right? Maidens evolve into mothers. Mothers eventually retire into cronedom, right? There's a whole lecture I have on that, but I'll save it for another day. If you're my client, you've probably heard it. But there is something here in terms of the physical world, something very nurturing. Yet, let's read the shadow and the light attributes. Yeah, my Wi-Fi keeps going out, so I'll just keep redoing it. Thankfully, I know exactly where I left off. The shadow attribute of the mother. And we know this. We know what the shadow mother is. Wire hangers, anyone? The shadow attribute, smothering or abandoning children. Instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. Now, if you take that out of literal, physical, biological, or adoptive children, we are looking at projects. We are looking at companies. We are looking at things that you are creating within yourself. Maybe right now, well, we'll get to the light side. You'll get that. All right. I hear you. Nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. Even if that's projects, if that's products, if that's whatever it is that you do, there's something not just productive here. Like, you totally see somebody making money out of their greenhouse, and I do mean plant. I mean, obviously I mean plants, but I mean, like, you know, I could see like hothouse flowers and orchids. I got an orchid right there. I named her Orca. She's not thrilled. Whale of a time. It's really because of the basin that she's in. Great white whale. Although it wasn't a white whale. Anyway, there's just something very, very nurturing, very grounding here, very mothering. You might very well be mothering others, right? See what I mean? Like, this isn't necessarily about parent-child relationship, as it is your own feminine energy. And of course, along with that comes mother's intuition. I mean, we could talk about the mother archetype forever, and keep in mind, Cancerians are the mothers of the zodiac. What's going on in your personal level. Now remember, this is your career. Now don't get freaked out by this. There's a huge benefit to this archetype. The beggar. I could see why somebody would want to look at that. Now you've already read the title, so a lot of people probably are going to watch this because that word is in there. Well, then they're going to really miss out on really tuning to the light attribute, because they're all thinking about the shadow. Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. We've all had moments when we're exhausted, but that's not really the exclusion of effort. That's having nothing left to give at the end of the day, right? Or at noon, however that works for you. But again, this might not be you, right? It's like, again, this might not be you. This might not even be a person, like, as a mother. It doesn't necessarily mean it's your mother. But it could be that your work, right, is something in that energy. So your internal world in terms of your career might be dealing with beggars. Now, they just gave me a flash across my third eye. Nonprofit organizations and charities, and really essentially what they have to do is beg. I mean, that's what fundraising is. Yeah, you can throw parties, it's still begging, right? So there's and so therefore the shadow of it you get. But now here's the light. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. The physical survival part is here in this mother. This could totally be about taking care of people who can't take care for themselves. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem, both your estimation of yourself and estimation of others. Like, what I feel would be close to this would be the archetype of the Samaritan, which is also in this deck, serving those that others would rather ignore, something like that. Yeah, it's like there is definitely a mothering thing here. Now, this is why work, career, vocation might not always fit into a job, right? Or like a monster resume. I don't know how you put these on there, but there's something here about that high quality of that humility and compassion, while really highlighting empowerment at the level of physical survival. So your career, even if it's not, you know, a punch in, punch out nonprofit situation, your career might very well be about empowering people who, and again, if you only take poverty at the physical, financial level, you're missing a whole other part. People beg for attention, right? People beg for love. Now, you could say to them, all that is within you, but you know, what do healers do, really? The highest vibrational healers I've ever worked for, or with, I should say with, in terms of me being the client, have always been so loving and generous, but also incredibly well boundaried and disciplined, right? Like that real balance there, like putting lightning in a bottle, right? So with this beggar archetype here, it really feels like your heart could very much be into this thing of compassion, right? I mean, particularly if you want to take it out of the human species in terms of begging, and the animal species, sort of like the rescuer, but dealing with a beggar. So that's a very, very fascinating archetype, and one that, by the way, beggars have been on the planet since Og hit Grog with a club, you know, around a fire in caveman days, right? So it's a very, very ancient archetype, and one that we always want to keep in the shadow, right? Like homeless people. If I have change, if I have money on me, I give it to them. It's just everything's plastic now. You can't really swipe anything there, but I always do when I see, even in gas stations, guys come up to him like, well, I got a $5. So go, oh, thank you, brother. I'm like a blessed be. And I give them a little prayer as they go too. Silently, I want to freak them out. And here is the second time this card has shown up in this series. Very interesting. Your vocation, the lover. There is something very spiritual about this work, career, vocation thing, my Cancers. Come on, you got the mother, the beggar, and the lover. You really have a powerful triune here in terms of the spiritual, the mental, emotional, and the physical. Okay, what is that? The third time, the fourth time that's happened with this, keeps glitching out. The shadow archetype of the lover is a nightmare. It really is. It's just a plain old-fashioned nightmare. Obsessive passion that harms others. Self-destructive devotion. Now remember, this is in your spiritual calling. Your career is right under that. This is what pulls you forward. What is your spiritual calling, your vocation? So there's something here about the divine masculine archetype of the lover, even though there is a woman on the card. This belongs to the masculine family, right? So there is something, how the lover expresses themselves, right? They'll river deep, mountain high, just played in my head. I'm like, thank you, Tina Turner, wherever you are, right? Would I love you? Let's not go there. I love that song, make me cry. But that's the lover archetype in me. So I sort of get that front and center there. The light attribute, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And what if that someone or something is spirit, is God? That's the point of this, right? Your higher self, your spiritual path is just as much a part of all this, because they're not three separate categories. I mean, they are symbolically speaking, but they're all interwoven, right? So this is very, very interesting. I want to see what's going on. Like, I've got the patterns. I see how they click together. Like your career, like I'm not saying you're a beggar, but if you have the beggar archetype, how would you know that you have the beggar archetype? Either you're doing the begging. I don't feel like there's someone here dependent on others to the exclusion of effort. We all have to lean on people. We're all in this together, particularly 2020. You fucking kidding me, right? But it doesn't mean necessarily that that this can be developed in you through someone else begging and you really learning, right? Confronting empowerment at the level of physical survival awakens the spiritual authority. So there is spiritual authority here of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. And the spiritual level here, the symbolic level of power, is the lovers. So they're with the mother and manifest. It's really good. So we're going to ask the goddesses now. Take a nice deep breath. My goddesses, please, I need 3 cards in clarity for this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in their work, career, and vocation. We've got the mother, we've got the beggar, and we've got the lover. Please, what's going on the inside of them, in their interior world, in their work with that mother archetype, in their career with the beggar archetype, and for the lover, there in their vocation. All right, again, we got the mother archetype, not gender-based here, with the star. You could so many different ways to read this, but the immediate one that hits me is that you are nurturing a dream. You are nurturing a hope. You are nurturing something very, very high vibrational. And I have to say, with what you have on the table here, that really does seem to bear true, right? So there is a process of gestation, right? A conception, right? You conceived the idea, the project, the whatever it is, into you're to bring this into physical form. That's at least what's showing here, right? So you conceived it, you've gestated it, you've labored. Like, what stage of pregnancy are you in, if we're going to talk? Because the language of pregnancy and the language of creativity are the same. We just don't realize it, right? Where are you in that phase? Please comment if that particularly makes sense to you, because it feels like everybody has a dream. Everybody has hopes and desires and dreams and wishes that they want to manifest. But this really feels like you're mothering this. You are nurturing this dream inside of yourself through your work. Now, if you're like, not my work, I hate my work. Well, then get that. There is something deeper here gestating. What's going on inside of you? You want to talk gestation. What's going on in the internal world, right? The beggar with temperance. So you are coming into this power inside of yourself with the authority of compassion, humility, service, but it takes interior temperance. Now, I love the temperance card now because I started watching on YouTube these videos where they take old rusted metal things. There's so many channels that do it, and they restore them, right? Like restorations. And yesterday I watched one, and they took this thing, they attached it to electrodes, and they put it in sulfuric acid, and then they attached it to a battery, and it's like, you know, it's all time lapse, right? And what they do to the stuff, like they hammer out the dents, right? And at the end, after they've grinded it and sanded it, get it burning white hot and then dipping it in oil, right? Tempering. It's literally called tempering. And I'm sitting here, I'm watching, this is early this morning, actually, like 1 a.m. I was like, that's the journey of the soul right there, right? So you take your time with this and be patient. I know no one wants to be patient, but there's something here, maybe that beggar archetype, like waiting patiently, but getting stronger. The temperance is always about getting stronger, but it takes discipline, patience. What is the process of alchemy? What is the process of tempering a sword or a piece of metal or anything? Heat, pressure, and time. Balance, discipline. And so that can mean all sorts of different things. It can also mean that you may, all right, for those of you who are interacting with that sort of beggar vibe, you know it when you feel it. And you know when it's coming from that place of, no, really, truly, if you could help me, that would be wonderful. And you know it's authentic. If you really pay attention, right? You're Cancerian, you know anyway. Your mother instinct will tell you. When the kid is really hungry, I'm using metaphor, kid is really hungry or just wants a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. So, yeah, feel that out in your interior world, particularly, yes, your heart, your third eye, your crown. The mental, emotional aspect of this, because you might be heartbroken every time that you're dealing with someone or something in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Just your heart breaks. Like, that's why I'm sorry. I hear Sarah McLachlan come on the TV. I dive for the remote. I'm like, I don't need to, don't look. I have 3 cats. I'm good. All of mine were rescues, actually. They found me. The Lover's card in your vocation with the card of celebration, the card of revelation. There is something bigger here, way bigger than either one of us are seeing in this work career situation thing, because these 3 things are definitely linked. But if you look at the women, oh, now this is better with this with my phone. This way you can see now, right? Women dancing, right? Looks like in the mountains, but really, look, it's like there's the mother's breasts in the, right? The earth mother in the foreground here with her breast. They're dancing around her navel, right? It's a revelation. It's like, and something revealed through the devotional, vocational power of love within you, right? This is whatever your spiritual practice is here. If it's not goddess oriented, I'd be a little shocked, because wherever you can find the goddess in every face, in every religion. If you look in every path, right, there's the divine feminine, the divine yin. That's why I like the East. It's not so gender based. But what a very, very interesting combo. Definitely, I'd get up into that 8th chakra as a vocation. Just like every day, I'm going to pray. I'm just going to be still and know that what I need to be revealed to me will be revealed to me. But this isn't being revealed to you from the outside. It's being revealed to you top down. Neat. Oh, peachy kino. Last 3 cards down. We got the inner stuff going on there. Oh, you have 3 major arcana cards. First time in the series, I think. You've got 3 major arcana cards. You've got the Star, the Temperance, and the Celebration, the card of the Judgment, right? So, you know, you want to say, oh, it's reconciliation, but it's in the 8th chakra. So that would be reconciliation with your higher self, with the angels, with the gods, you know. More like revelation. It feels like a larger picture is going to be revealed to you, but through love, not just through thinking, right? You know, it's more transcendent than that visionary intuition. Because even 3 levels of power, you have survival intuition, creative intuition, and I just said it, visionary intuition. Oh, just breathe. My gods of Cancer and Water, the Cancerians, my crablets. Please, I need 3 cards of clarity for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising sign. I'll get used to that. Sun, Moon, Rising signs in their work, career, vocation. Please, my gods, 1 card for their work involving the Mother archetype and the card of the Star. We'll do that face down, of course. 1 for their career involving the Beggar archetype and the card of Temperance on the inner. Okay, what's going on the outer there? And for their vocation, the archetype of the Lover with the card of Celebration or the Justice card on the inner. What's going on the outer? Because even though it's the 8th chakra, doesn't mean you can't have a mystical experience in the external world. So your work somehow involves the Mother archetype, light and shadow, with the Star, that higher guidance, that higher grace. Like following the North Star. Do it again. Like following the North Star when your compass has kicked out, or you lost it, whatever. Your dreams, your hopes, I wouldn't go so far as to say fantasies. I don't know that that would be a major arcana in this sense, but there's definitely something gestating inside of you. What's going on the outside? The flow in the ointment, the 9 of Swords. So a lot of overthinking. Well, I don't want to say stinking thinking, thank you, Franken, but I will say there's something really here about your mind getting the better of you. Like, okay, sure, there are worries in the physical. I mean, maybe you are literally a mother who has hopes and dreams, but cannot for the life of her or him, again, archetype is gender neutral, in the physical world can't figure it out. Right? The great thing is that 10 of blades, the next blade or sword that would come, would bring you that mental resolution. So not everything is on the table, so to speak, with this, not just in this reading, but I mean, even where you are physically, because with these other energies that you've got going on here, it would make sense. Now, if you really are losing sleep at night, really obsessive thinking, I'm just going to tell you this because I learned this from Matt Kahn last year, and I think he's a freaking genius. He said, when you're overthinking, think of it as an alarm system telling you to get into your heart, right? Your energy is all up here. Breathe into here, which then, of course, would make sense here with your personal level of power, your career, right? So you've got the Beggar archetype with balance, with Temperance, it's a powerful healing card. And on the outside page is Swords. So a communication comes in. I don't see pages as people. I rarely even see court cards as people anymore. They're archetypal gestalts, zodiacal archetypal gestalts. Hey, if this was super chat, you should give me money for that. It was a great phrase. It was a $20 phrase at least. But definitely some kind of communication coming in that has potential, right? That is going to kind of give you the opportunity here, but I have a feeling it's going to take time, right? It's something that the thing with the Beggar is it's all about if this in the physical world is really about money and finances, for example, then this can really be a very, very formidable archetype. And why wouldn't it be? People are struggling for money. It's part of why I'm doing these reads, right? To kind of look at your work career and your vocation in a different way to see what skills and tools you have. Well, this might be very much with what's going on here in the third column, the vocation, to really go to the divine and say, give me a sign, give me a message. I will do what you ask of me. If I have to be tempered, if I have to be strengthened, but whatever is coming, though it may just be a beginning, not an ace, but a communication. An immature communication doesn't mean childish. It means initial, right? Like a seed, like hi, hey, hi girl, hi, right? You know, something simple like that, but that nonetheless brings this strength from within you or assists in that process. A very, very interesting thing. Then again, like another way to read that is that you might be getting a communication from someone who's begging for something, you know, money or not, attention, help, assistance, and really with this mother archetype, these stressful thoughts might be getting in the way of your intuitive mother's intuition, right? About who's being good and who's not. And I don't like that language, but that's sort of the thing that I get. It's like you might very much be a mother in this situation, but are your boundaries intact here? Particularly if something comes in like a Page of Swords and it seems a little iffy, it depends on your career too, right? If it's somebody that you know needs the help. So this is why we turn to the vocation. Again, you got the lovers. I mean, yes, of course, there could be so many other cards in this position, but for the lover archetype, this is like the love of the divine, the love of God, right? The love of spirit, all that 8th chakra stuff. And with revelation, I mean, you got 3 major arcana cards and the 6 of Pentacles here. Now, this isn't past, present, future. This is saying that on the outside, there is an equal give and take of all that is needed here in the 8th chakra that can incarnate down through the crown, the throat, the crown, the third eye, the throat, and the heart in this situation where the beggar. My phone keeps going offline, so I'm just going to go back quickly because I don't even know if all of this got on here. That there is an equal give and take here in that crown chakra, making its way down, and it has to do with love. It's like they're showing me the Kabbalistic tree of life, the heart chakra, Tiferet, harmony and balance, right? That there's something here that really balances you out spiritually, then really comes down to clarify and deal with whatever this beggar archetype is that's making you stronger on the inside, even though communication might be a little, well, maybe, let's see. Like, you know, when someone wants to book a reading and they're like, well, I don't know, how much is it? I'm like, well, my rates are posted, $100 an hour, 50 for a half hour, 3 hours and 300, right? That's our deal, keep the math simple. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, I'm here, right? It's like, it's an initial thing, but nothing is is committed to. And that's necessary in business too. But then in terms of the work, right? If there is something you are really mothering here, trying to bring a hope, a dream into physical reality, maybe someone else's too, right? You know, those supportive roles are just as necessary, right? And just lead roles throughout the whole movie tends to get a little whacked over the head. That's why you have comic relief. So this 8 of Swords, that if this is losing sleep, not just bound to a particular thought like the 8 of Swords, but that 9 of Swords of really being tormented to the point where you can't sleep. A lot of not just worry. Well, the word worry means to wear away. My 2 things that rub against each other like a worry stone. They wear away. But this does feel like the solution is in here. What's going on here in the physical and the mental emotional is definitely something being revealed in the spiritual, if you want to go there. So to put this all together, you've got your work is dealing with the mother archetype with the star inside of you, pulling you, guiding you forth. Perhaps this might not be your mental shitstorm as well. This could be someone else's. If there's something in the outside, someone who's, you know what, that's probably more the case, but if you're an empath, be careful of that. Are you feeling your worry or theirs or both, right? Are you 2%? Are they 50%, right? The rest being in the collective unconscious? Possibly. Is it a risk? It's always a risk incarnating a dream into physical form. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a hero's journey, right? So in your career, to deal with this beggar archetype, and I'm going to say it again, confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival perhaps of your career, maybe not your physical body, but awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. And if you have to ask for help from the beggar archetype, it can really be with the authority that comes with that humility and that compassion and that self-esteem. Self-esteem is not a noun, it's a verb, right? To esteem yourself, no, this is worth it. This is my dream. This is who I am. And I will do whatever is necessary inside, right? If I got to buckle up, if I got to suck it up, if I got to be strong, if I have to be tortured to ask for what I need here, right? If that's the way it's playing out. By the other way, flip that around. It could be you're dealing with someone who is begging, and you're going to really need that patience, that balance, that to really know what to do, because the communication seems to be a little immature, right? Particularly like in a business thing. If I say, all right, well, get back to me next week, and 2 weeks go by, I mean, even if they give me a great proposal or whatever opportunity, I'm going to think twice about it because it took them 2 weeks instead of one. It's not just a Virgo thing, right? So it depends on what they're asking, right? It depends on what that's going to change this eau de toilette, cologne to perfume, and back and forth for whoever is watching here. But it would make sense that with the archetype of the lovers in the vocation, it's like, this is what's going to save your ass on this one, because something is revealed to you, and it might be revealed only to you, but a larger picture, visionary, intuitive experience where you see it. Now that might come clairvoyantly, clairaudiently, clairsentient, it can come through your dreams. You're just going to be pulled up, I would think, through the power of love. Now that's going to be, for a Cancerian, not hard, right? Just focus on the love of the divine as noun and verb. That's the best soundbite I got. Oh yeah, well, I'm going to be streaming some things called Amplifying Abundance this week and next. You might want to check those out because you're going to hear that loving the divine, or God or goddess, as noun and verb over and over again. Bringing this all somehow into a physical balance. This is, after all, an earth card. So I have to say, for work, career, and vocation, very, very powerful. And remember, these might not all be about what you do for a living. It's what you do while you're living. Wow. That was good. That was good. Never said that before, right? It's like, how are you managing your soul powers in your work, career, and your vocation? Regardless, may the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, and vocation, right? That they may mother, that they may deal with the beggar, and they may be that lover. To bring things into balance, to find the discipline necessary to manifest a dream, a hope, a light into this world as the mother, and with the lover, that they are able to receive the information that they need, the revelations necessary to really find the balance within themselves in this situation, dealing with the beggar within themselves, within another, within whatever situation they find themselves in, so that they can find that authority within themselves, that compassion, that humility, and that self-esteem as verb, to estimate themselves of worthy of carrying this dream, this star, into physical form for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Here you go, my Cancerians. I hope you did like it. If you do, please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment below. You know, I'd really love to hear, like, what is the, like, even if you wanted to comment, you didn't know what to comment on, well, tell me, what is this about, right? Male or female, what is it that you are carrying into physical form? Do you have a dream with someone who's a mother? Do you have a dream with your mother? Because this can play itself out very literally. So if you can talk about it, because I would like to see. Anyway, wishing you all the very, very blessed and the